You wake up, but something feels wrong. You can see the room around you, the dim outline of your furniture, the pale light leaking in through the window. But when you try to move, you realize you can't. Your body is frozen, trapped under an invisible weight. Panic builds in your chest. You try to lift your arms, your legs, nothing. You will yourself to scream, but not a sound escapes your lips. It's like your mind is awake, but your body has been left behind. And then you see it. At the foot of your bed, there's a shadow. A dark figure, tall, impossibly still, almost blending into the darkness. At first, you think it's just your eyes playing tricks on you. Maybe it's a coat, a chair, a trick of the moonlight. But then it moves. Slowly, deliberately. It steps closer. You can feel its presence, a cold, heavy weight pressing down on the room, squeezing the breath from your lungs. Every instinct in your body screams at you to run, to fight, to do something. But you can't. You are trapped, helpless, forced to watch as the thing stands over you. Its face is a blur, shifting, warping, like smoke. Some people see glowing eyes. Others see a twisted grin. You don't know which is worse, seeing it clearly or not seeing it at all. You beg silently for it to end. Seconds stretch into minutes, or maybe it just feels that way. Time doesn't seem to work right here. And just when you think you can't bear it any longer, it's gone. The shadow melts away. Your body jerks awake, gasping for air, as if you've just been pulled from deep underwater. You sit up in bed, drenched in cold sweat. The room looks normal again. No figures, no movement, just silence. You tell yourself it was only a dream, a trick of the mind, but deep down, you know it wasn't. This is not a nightmare. This is sleep paralysis, and it happens to millions of people every year. Ordinary people from all walks of life. REPORTING. Chillingly similar experiences. The feeling of being watched, the crushing pressure, and the shadowy visitors. Skeptics say it's just the brain misfiring between sleep and wakefulness. Scientists call it hypnagogic hallucination. But if that's true, why do so many people from across different cultures, across centuries, see the same thing? A dark figure, a heavy presence, something that doesn't feel like it belongs in this world. Tonight, when you close your eyes, pray that you stay asleep, because once you wake up, you might not be alone. Sleep paralysis. It sounds clinical, almost harmless, but if you've ever experienced it, you know it's anything but. Sleep paralysis occurs when your mind wakes up before your body does. During REM sleep, the stage where most dreams occur, your body naturally enters a state of paralysis. It's a safety mechanism designed to prevent you from physically acting out your dreams. But sometimes something goes wrong. You wake up mentally, fully aware of your surroundings, but your body remains frozen, locked in place. For most people, this alone would be terrifying enough. But for countless others, it doesn't stop there. Across the world, across cultures and centuries, people report eerily similar experiences during sleep paralysis. The overwhelming feeling of a presence in the room, the sensation of being watched, or even touched, and most chilling of all, the appearance of shadowy figures, dark silhouettes standing at the foot of the bed, sitting on the chest, whispering into ears, figures that feel real, far too real. Why is that? Why do so many people from completely different backgrounds and beliefs see the same things during sleep paralysis? Some scientists argue that these visions are simply hallucinations, tricks of the brain, caught between sleep and wakefulness. They suggest that the brain, still half-dreaming, projects nightmares into the waking world. Fear triggers the fight-or-flight response, and in a desperate search for threats, the mind conjures up the very thing it dreads the most. It's a neat explanation, logical, but it doesn't fully account for the consistency of the experiences. In Japan, sleep paralysis is known as kanashi, believed to be caused by vengeful spirits binding the body. In Newfoundland, Canada, people speak of the old hag, a witch-like creature that sits on your chest, stealing your breath. In parts of Africa, it's said to be the work of demons, or witches attacking vulnerable souls during the night. The names are different, but the stories are hauntingly alike. Could it really be just coincidence? Or is there something deeper at work here? Something that science doesn't yet understand or refuses to acknowledge? Some researchers of the paranormal suggest that sleep paralysis is not a hallucination at all, but a glimpse into another realm, a thin veil between our world and something darker, something we were never meant to see. They propose that during sleep, when our consciousness is free and our defenses are down, we become vulnerable not just to dreams, but to things that exist beyond human sight. Entities that watch, entities that wait. Others believe that the figures seen during sleep paralysis are a manifestation of our deepest, oldest fears, the fear of the unknown, the fear of helplessness, the primal terror of being hunted, trapped completely at the mercy of an unseen force. But then again, what if fear isn't the cause? What if fear is the reaction to something real? Thousands of people who have experienced sleep paralysis describe the same sensations: a sudden, crushing pressure on the chest, making it almost impossible to breathe, a bone-deep certainty that they are not alone, an overwhelming, paralyzing dread that fills the room like thick smoke. And of course, the shadows, shadow figures, dark silhouettes, shapes that defy explanation. Some report seeing simple human-like forms, tall, featureless beings lurking at the edges of the bed. Others describe more grotesque visions, creatures with twisted limbs, gaping mouths, burning eyes. Sometimes the figures whisper, sometimes they scream, sometimes they do nothing at all, simply standing and staring, as if observing, studying. Rarely, very rarely, the figures touch. And when they do, survivors describe the sensation as one of the most horrifying moments of their lives. How can all these people from isolated villages, bustling cities, ancient times, and modern days describe almost identical experiences? It raises a chilling question. Is sleep paralysis merely a glitch in the sleeping brain? Or is it something much more sinister? A doorway, a weak spot, a crack between worlds where something else can slip through. Tonight, we're going to explore some of the most chilling real-life accounts of sleep paralysis. Stories from people who have seen the shadow figures, people who have felt the weight of invisible hands on their chests, people who have come face to face with the unknown and lived to tell about it. Are you ready? Because once you hear their stories, you'll realize the shadows are not just in your mind. They're real, they're watching, and they're closer than you think. Case 1. The woman who saw the same shadow man every time. Her name was Rachel, a young professional living alone in a quiet apartment in the suburbs. The first time it happened, She thought it was just a bad dream, a nightmare fueled by stress. She woke up in the middle of the night, completely paralyzed. She could see the clock glowing on her nightstand. She could hear the faint hum of her air conditioner, but she couldn't move. Standing at the foot of her bed was a man, or something shaped like a man. He was tall, impossibly tall, with limbs that seemed too long, too thin. His body was a void, absorbing all the light around him. No eyes, no mouth. Just pure blackness. Rachel tried to scream, tried to thrash, but she was frozen in place, her heart hammering against her ribs. Then, without a sound, the shadow man slowly leaned toward her, and just as suddenly as it had begun, it was over. Rachel sat up, gasping, drenched in cold sweat. She tried to brush it off as a nightmare, but then it happened again, and again, week after week, month after month. Every time she experienced sleep paralysis, he was there, standing silently, watching. No matter where she lived, no matter how much she prayed, no matter what she tried, he always found her. And then, he would vanish, and then, it was gone. Case 2, the teen who felt a creature breathe on his face. Tyler was 16 when it first happened. He had pulled an all-nighter, studying for exams, and finally collapsed into bed just before dawn. He woke up, or thought he did, to find himself staring at the ceiling, unable to move a muscle. At first he heard it, a low, rasping breath, somewhere in the darkness. Then he felt it, pressure on his chest, growing heavier, as if something was crawling onto him. Panicked, his eyes darted around the room, searching for the source. And then he saw it. A creature, small, hunched. Its skin pale and stretched thin like paper was straddling his chest. Its face was inches from his own. Sunken, hollow eyes stared into him. Its mouth hung open, and Tyler could feel the moist heat of its breath against his skin. It whispered something he couldn't understand, a slithering sound that made his stomach churn. Tyler tried to will himself awake, tried to scream, to move anything, but the creature only leaned closer, its mouth grazing his cheek. He closed his eyes, praying to wake up. Seconds felt like hours, until finally the pressure lifted. He jolted awake, gasping. His chest sore, as if something had truly been sitting on him. His room was empty, silent, but Tyler never forgot that breath on his face, that foul, heavy breathing, that seemed almost hungry. And then, it was gone. Case 3, the firefighter who saw a man crawling on the ceiling. Mark was a firefighter, strong, rational, trained to keep calm in the most chaotic situations. He had always scoffed at ghost stories, laughing them off as superstition, until the night he learned better. It was a quiet evening. Mark had just returned home after a long, exhausting shift and fell into bed still wearing half his uniform. Somewhere in the night, he woke up fully conscious but completely paralyzed. He could feel the rough fabric of his sheets against his skin. He could hear the distant barking of a neighbor's dog, but he couldn't move. That's when he noticed something wrong. His eyes slowly scanned the room, and there, above him, clinging to the ceiling like some grotesque insect, was a man, or something that looked like a man. Its limbs bent at impossible angles, its head twisted too far to the side, grinning with a mouth far too wide. It skittered across the ceiling, fast, jerky movements like a puppet on broken strings. Mark's logical mind screamed at him that it wasn't real, that it couldn't be real, but he could hear the scraping of its nails on the ceiling plaster. He could see its black, hollow eyes locked onto his. Then, in one fluid, unnatural motion, it dropped from the ceiling directly toward him. Mark squeezed his eyes shut, bracing for impact. But when he opened them, the room was empty, silent, normal, except for the deep, lingering feeling that he had finally seen something that defied all reason. And for the first time in his life, he was afraid to fall asleep again. And then, it was gone. When it comes to sleep paralysis, two dominant theories attempt to explain the terrifying phenomena people experience. One belongs to the world of science, the other to something far older and far more chilling. Let's begin with the scientific explanation. According to neurologists, sleep paralysis is a natural, albeit frightening, misfire of the brain. Normally, during REM sleep, your body is effectively paralyzed, preventing you from acting out your dreams. When sleep paralysis occurs, your mind wakes up, but your body doesn't follow. You're caught between two states, fully aware mentally, but physically trapped in a dreamlike paralysis. In this vulnerable state, your brain can create vivid hallucinations, shadow figures, breathing sounds, the sensation of a presence in the room. Scientists believe these hallucinations are fueled by the primal fear centers of the brain, a effort by your mind to make sense of the terror it's feeling. Your brain, desperate to explain why you're unable to move, conjures up the image of a threat. From this perspective, the shadow man, the old hag, the creatures sitting on your chest, they're all illusions. They have no reality beyond the chemical storms inside your own mind. It's a comforting thought, in a way, a rational explanation for an irrational terror, but it doesn't explain everything. Why do people from completely different parts of the world, separated by oceans, languages, and cultures, see the same figures? Why is there such a consistency in the stories, the feeling of a malevolent entity, the pressure on the chest, the whispering voices? If it's all just random hallucinations, why do they follow the same patterns? This is where science starts to falter and where older, darker theories begin to take root. Many cultures believe that what we experience during sleep paralysis is not simply a dream or a hallucination, but an encounter, a real event. They suggest that in the moments between sleep and wakefulness, the barriers between our world and others grow thin. Our minds are open, our bodies are defenseless, and they, the ones who dwell beyond, can reach through. Some believe that the entities seen during sleep paralysis are interdimensional beings, creatures from parallel realities, existing alongside us, just out of sight. Normally, they cannot touch us. But when we sleep, when our consciousness slips into that liminal state, the walls weaken. That's when they find us. Others believe the entities are darker, malevolent spirits, demons, things that feed on fear. These creatures are drawn to our vulnerability, like sharks to blood. They thrive on the terror they invoke, drinking in the raw, primal fear of their victims. In this view, the shadow figures aren't hallucinations at all. That they are hunters. Think about it. When you're awake, you're strong, aware, protected. But during sleep paralysis, you're trapped inside your own body. You can't move. You can't scream. You're a prisoner inside yourself, helpless. What better moment for something to strike? Some researchers in paranormal fields even propose that repeated sleep paralysis experiences, like Rachel's encounters with the same shadow, men, are signs of targeted attacks, Once an entity finds you vulnerable, it remembers, it follows. Skeptics dismiss these ideas as superstition, relics of a more fearful age. But the consistency across time, across cultures, across geography, is difficult to ignore. Is it possible that the ancients knew something that modern science has forgotten? That we are not alone at night, not truly, and that our most vulnerable moments are when they are closest. If sleep paralysis is simply a neurological hiccup, why does it feel so real? Why do so many people report feeling touched, breathed on, whispered to? And most disturbing of all, why do some experiences leave marks? Bruises, scratches, burns, physical evidence that something was there. Maybe the real question isn't whether the shadows are real. Maybe the real question is, how often are they there, watching, even when we don't see them? Tonight, when you close your eyes, when your body drifts off and your mind begins to float between worlds, just remember, if you find yourself awake but unable to move, if you feel the weight pressing down on your chest, if you hear the slow, raspy breath inches from your ear, you're not imagining it. You're not dreaming. You're seeing the truth. The truth that hides just beneath the surface of our reality. And if you're very unlucky, they might see you too. Tonight, when you lie down to sleep, when the world grows silent and the shadows creep across your room, just remember, if you wake up and can't move, if you sense something standing at the foot of your bed, if you feel a cold breath against your skin, you might not be alone. They are always watching, always waiting, and in that fragile space between dreams and waking, that's when they come closest. If tonight you find yourself frozen, unable to scream, unable to move, don't panic. Don't fight. Just pray that they lose interest, because once they notice you, they don't easily forget. If you found this story unsettling, you're not alone. There are countless others out there who have felt the same icy touch in the night, the same breathless terror. If you've ever experienced sleep paralysis, or something even darker, share your story in the comments below. We want to hear it. Sometimes the only comfort is knowing you're not the only one haunted. If you want more true, chilling tales of the unknown, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Dark Truths, and tap the bell so you never miss a new upload. Every week, we explore the mysteries that lurk just beyond the veil. And trust me, there's so much more waiting for you in the dark. Share this video with someone you know, someone who sleeps alone. Let them know they're not safe. None of us are. Until next time, sleep well, if you can.